Hi, my name is Travis Hoover, and I want to talk about rainwater harvesting. It's basically a process of collecting rainwater for alternative purposes, for its uses like home or livestock and irrigation purposes in your garden. Irrigation is one of the easiest ways to use it. There's no treatment process needed. You can just use gravity to let it flow out on the water. Uh, the Texas Commission of Environmental Quality has rules put for the public if you're going to use that water to give to them because of contaminations that run off the roof and things like that, because it can pose a threat to their health. So if you're going to use it to provide water for the public, you have to be certified and have inspections come out. As far as your home use, you don't have to have it, any type of certificate or inspector to come out. It is a good idea to treat it just because of contaminants that do run off your roof. Good ways for uses is wildlife. In arid areas where there are no water ponds or lakes available, there is a good place to use water catchment. And it's the bubblers is what they call them. It's basically water that bubbles up from a small tank in the ground. It provides water for wildlife that wouldn't have it any other way. You know, they would it improves your quality of your land because you have an area where your animals can come and water. Right along with wildlife is livestock. Basically the same thing. You can put your livestock in areas where they used not to be able to go because they didn't have water. And it's just an alternative water source. One of the best things is fire protection. You have a huge tank full of water waiting for the fire department to use on you or your neighbor's house or whatever is needed. A grass fire, and it's free water. It doesn't have to be paid for, and it's available. And in rural communities, it's a very good idea to have a water containment system. Rain gardens are artificial depressions that collect and store water and allow it to infiltrate into the ground, which helps on runoff and things like that. It holds the water for a certain amount of time, and it is a containment system, but it will dry. It's not a permanent pond or lake, but it does help the infiltration into the ground. Some of the parts of rainwater collection is your catchment area, which is basically your roof, your barn, usually metal. Shingle roofs work too. New ones, a new roof probably not, because it does have a lot of contaminants like oil and things like that on it, but after a few years it does work. To figure out your harvested area, you take your containment area square footage times your rainfall depth, was how many inches you get a year, times 0.623, and that'll actually give you an average of how much water you can catch within a year. The conveyance system, basically a fancy word for a gutter system. One of the big things, you just throw a pipe up, catch it running off your roof and going into your tank. One of the biggest factors there is just aesthetics. If you want it to look nice, it's just up to you. Storage, cistern or a tank, usually black to keep mold and things from growing in it. A lot of them are metal with a black liner on the inside and a reflective metal, which kind of keeps it cooler. A black tank in the sun your water's gonna get pretty hot. Treatment is not needed for your livestock or your plants. A UV light system is one of the best ways to go. You pass the water after it leaves the tank and going into your home through a UV light system, and it kills all the bacteria. And chlorine, just a good measure also to put in it too. And then distribution. It can either be gravity fed or pumps. Of course, gravity is free, so if you have your tank in the air or on a higher elevation, it'll flow naturally, and you won't have to use electricity to pump everything. So, hope you all enjoyed my presentation, and that was it about rainwater harvesting.